Before we start, please hear a message from International News Today Network. Starting today, for every subscriber, International News Today Network will plant one tree to save our planet. Please help contribute in saving our planet by subscribing to our channel. One subscriber equals one tree. Thanks.
You were asking me about me. I was never asked about me.
Совсем другая жизнь была. Так ее и делим до 11 и после 11 сентября.
Why do they hate us? Why do we have so many enemies?
It's been 15 years since 9/11.
But terrorism is still there.
We're not running though.
Nope, we're not.
Because I have the heels on, but
I know.
Well, we can walk fast.
Those were the good old days, when friends and family were allowed to go straight to the air bridge to meet you. I'm the girl with the balloons. I'm Yana, a 15-year-old exchange student from Russia, staying with an American family. I'm in the US under the Freedom Support Act, a program designed to offer a taste of life in a democracy. America has already taught me to greet everything with wow and cool. It let me discover the taste of French fries and gave me my first ever pair of contact lenses. It's 15 years since reality in America changed forever. I wonder if the words freedom and democracy have a different ring to them now too. I've come back after all these years to see how ordinary Americans feel now, and how they see their future.
What's wrong with you? Like, just get a job. I don't understand. Why is it so bad? Oh, you have asthma? Big deal, who cares? You're afraid a terrorist is gonna blow up the train that you're riding in the city? Just get it together, figure it out, get over it.
Do you have people literally telling this to your face?
Yes, I have people. How about members of the Congress? It's not just people. There are people that think this is a joke. Let's take, I forgot to take my inhalers. So stay right there. I have all of them. I just have to get them.
Okay,
I'll be
I'm
back
sorry.
in 1 second. It's okay. One of the benefits of having lung issues is that you can't get angry like that. I went to ground zero because I thought I could help, but it turned out that I couldn't do very much. Instead of being a help, I turned into a casualty. And now I have to be taken care of to the tune of well over $100,000 a year for just medicines alone.
You have to take 3 different ones at a time. Yeah.
This is my badge, actually. I always do that to show respect to the dead. So I used to wear that on my uniform. I wrote a song after 9/11.
Oh, you did?
That's how I dealt with it, yeah. Yeah, this is it. You start talking, it brings you close to it. It's like that hot potato nobody wants to touch, but it's a hot potato, you know?
It still is.
It's still a hot potato. It doesn't go away. It doesn't. This is something that we have to live for the rest of our life.
My family's 100 years in New York City. We've been living here 100 years. So I'm more of a New Yorker than probably anyone here. My family has been through it all. They participated in a lot of the important developments in New York City, working on construction sites, the George Washington Bridge or the Empire State Building. I'm a twin, and me and my twin sister, we had to be about 7 or 8, I guess. And my parents took us to see the Twin Towers under construction. You know, we joked that the Twin Towers were being built in our honor, and one was named John, the other one was named Jennifer. Yeah, it was just, you know, little kids playing games.
Was it a symbol of something back then? You know, the like highest.
It was a symbol of the might of America, of this great city, this great country, that we could build not just one great tower, but 2 great towers, right? 2 magnificent towers.
Назад из Союза, он к своим 27 годам стал известным специалистом в области международных финансов и директором торгового отдела Объединенного банка Швейцарии в Нью-Йорке. Ваше финансовое положение, то, чего вы добились за 12 лет, живя в Америке.
Американцы говорят, что если вы зарабатываете столько, сколько вам лет, в тысячах, то это уже хорошо. Я зарабатываю в 2,5 раза больше, чем мне лет. Счастливо.
Получается, он не работал в башнях Близнецах, да?
Никогда.
Как он оказался тогда там?
Потому что его бывший босс сказал: Алекс, вот будет конференция, и ты ее будешь проводить, так что ты выбирай место, где тебе нравится, там и делай. Он говорит: конечно, на 106-м этаже, Window of the World. Конечно. Пусть они все любуются Нью-Йорком, они что, всего мира приезжают, отовсюду.
Nelly Braginskaya was 43 when she came to the US from the Soviet Union with her son. She had no money or connections, but a lot of hope for a better future for her only child.
Нельзя было проехать в этот день, потому что перекрыт же был Манхэттен, ни мосты, ничего не работало. Люди пешком шли. Я приехала на завтра, и мне навстречу поднялся босс и 2 мужчина и женщина. Ну, по виду я поняла, что это psychiatrist стоит. И они с 2 сторон встали. Я говорю: вы что? Пришли меня успокаивать? Не надо. Я говорю: я в порядке. И сын в порядке. Мы еще тут будем пить шампанское и водку тоже русскую. Все будет в порядке.
Почему вы считаете, что сын вас выбросился из окна?
Во-первых, я знаю Алекса. Он не будет сидеть в дыму и ждать, пока он задохнется. Никогда в жизни. Это не тот человек. Во-вторых, когда мне вернули его бумажник, на конверте было написано, что это item number 1. Это первая вещь, которая была найдена под 1 номером. Сегодня упал дом, и завтра нашли. Конечно, он выбросился. Конечно. У него меняется выражение глаз. Я встаю утром и подхожу к нему. Я с ним здороваюсь, я его целую, говорю, что я его очень люблю. Обязательно читаю молитву. Обязательно. Я чувствую, что он есть. Он всегда здесь, он всегда со мной, я советуюсь. Мысленно спрашиваю, какая-то мелодия, какая-то музыка, какой-то фильм, какой-то спектакль старый показывают. Это он слушал, это он пел, это он любил, это он читал, я открываю его пометки на книгах. Ну, он живет, он здесь, он со мной все время, я слышу его. Советуюсь с ним, спрашиваю, что делать, не делать. Глаза отвечают.
We don't talk about 9/11. She's only 3. We're just starting to talk about bad things that happen sometimes. She's gonna study it in school as part of history. And I will show her, I guess, some pictures and tell her a little bit about, I guess, what I did. I never really thought about this. You know, I grew up in Colombia. I mean, when I came to this country, my city was the most dangerous place in the world. So I grew up with an awareness of really bad things happening. And I mean, maybe that's why I became a trauma psychologist. Maybe that's why I was able to deal with people in pain. I was 25 years old at the time. I can tell you a thousand stories about 9/11. You know, I could tell the story about the widow. I could tell the story about the person who saw people falling because they were desperate to evacuate. They wanted to kill themselves. They were cutting themselves. They were pulling their hair out because some people just could not get the vision of seeing others fall off the building out of their minds. They couldn't stop thinking about when they evacuated all the stairs, you know, hearing screams of people. Most days were difficult, some were awful. Some were like, it's just too much. Every day was a new challenge. There were lines of patience.
How did you feel? Did you feel scared and, you know, frustrated and not knowing?
You know, I don't think I felt anything, quite frankly. So it's hard to talk about it, you see. It's okay. No. Oh. You're asking me about me. I was never asked about me. Well, from the therapist perspective, most of my time is spent asking questions and finding ways to heal someone, you know. I'm always focused, like, how can I make this person have a better tomorrow? So, you know, in many ways, in order to do that, you have to shut down. So you shut down. And you can't really predict for how long a person will shut down. I think I've been very shut down. Traumatic events stay with you. Every anniversary, days before, days after, you feel tense, you feel anxious, you feel the same sense of like fear and distress that you felt before. And that's what people will tell you.
This is really good tree. Chubby? Yana likes it.
It's
a cool one.
We could shape it.
Yana, tell us a few words about Chubby, the new tree.
Of what?
Chubby the tree.
Chubby? What's the chubby is?
That. Okay. It's the best one I've seen here.
It's beautiful. I like it. It's so wide and it's so green.
Let's go back to where America was before September 11th. People were more carefree. They didn't think about terrorism. They didn't think about war or attacks. That was something that always happened far away. If you drive up here through all these small towns, you will see almost every town has a monument like this.
Really?
Almost every town. You know, every town here lost 3, 4, 5 people. I think what's very tragic for Americans, and again, so a lot of people are still in a state of denial. Right? They really don't want to talk about it. They don't want to remember it. I think there's more and more now suspicion of outsiders, especially when you get out of the big cities in America. Everyone is looking at each other as sort of like a potential maybe threat, terrorist. It's soaking into people's consciousness on the subconscious level. This idea, if you see something, say something. It's taken me, say, 3 years to get finally to be accepted here in this town. I am pretty much a local guy. People know my family. I'm still an outsider, you see? I mean, I've been away for a long time. And that was never an issue before. We really did have a tradition, a history of rights and democracy in this country up until 9/11. I came from the old America, where you couldn't have surveillance cameras. That was considered unconstitutional, an invasion of privacy. I remember huge scandals when I was a kid because the police had a suspect and they were going through the suspect's garbage, which was on the curbside. But they didn't have a search warrant from the court. So the judge said that's illegal. The police have no right to go through the garbage of a suspect until they get a search warrant. I mean, now it sounds ridiculous. The police can break down your door with guns, throw you to the ground, threaten your entire family, and they don't need a warrant. Under the pretext of anti-terrorist measures, they can almost do anything they want by using the terrorist threat. They can justify any action. We have to accept it. That's the reality. That's the new America. It's like, welcome to the new America. Yeah, this is it.
There are people that just left that never came back, and then there are new people like me who came to New York, wasn't afraid to come to New York and move here, even though the attacks happened, several years prior. I love New York. Everything's changed. The very idea of talking and having a conversation, just you and I, as regular people, about terrorists or terrorism or things we're seeing on TV all the time, people didn't talk like that. We didn't discuss those things. We weren't thinking like that. It's common language now. Isn't that something?
What about your rights and freedoms? Are you willing to give some of them up now to stay safer?
I would be okay with some of it, or maybe all of it, if it means a safer country and place to live. Because ultimately, whether someone's tapping my phone or not is not as significant as someone, bombing someone down the street when there's a marathon or a plane goes by or something like that. I mean, do you have any idea how close the helicopters get to where I live? Like, if a helicopter or plane wanted to come right now in this building, we're 61 stories high. That could happen. So I will give up that to make sure that a plane doesn't do something like it did before. And I think that's the challenge. Everyone's trying to figure out what's the next thing that's going to happen. This building starts on the 50th floor for the apartments, so I only get to my apartment from the elevator. I've never taken the stairs all the way down. I should time myself to get out. Oh gosh, we're lucky to be alive. Oh, this is the very, very bottom.
I could probably count on one hand from 9/11 till now how many times I've been on the train. I won't go. Phone's always charged, never turned off. Always have my badge and my ID on me, always. God forbid something happens. You can get access where others can't. I always have a certain amount of money with me in case the ATM stopped working. I've never driven anything but a Jeep since 9/11. Because I remember saying, well, a Jeep will get over a lot of debris, so if they knock down buildings, I can get out of here, I can drive over it. I just instinctively would watch planes fly over whenever I heard them. So whenever I see a plane, and I noticed that I'm with friends and they do the same thing. Oh, and then they just watch it go by, and as soon as it's out of sight, okay. Something in my head's like, all right, that's good. Plane's out of the area. I'm glad that I volunteer here at the museum. When given the opportunity to talk about the people that were lost that day, give people a first-hand account of what happened, and then when given the opportunity, talk about my friends that I lost because their memory needs to stay alive. I mean, there's 2,977 people that day that were murdered. The hundreds that have died since then that everybody forgets now. You know, my great days are with my kids and my grandkids. If I didn't have a family, we wouldn't be having this conversation, Yana. I would have, ended my life a long time ago because it was that painful. Most of terrorism is not the actual act, it's the fear. Yeah, they've accomplished that all right. I mean, I'd hate to admit it. I was so suspicious once when I was flying that I went up to the airline and I said, I just feel uncomfortable. The worst thing for me was they actually didn't let the guy fly. I mean, I remember the air marshals letting him board. As soon as everybody sat down, they got up and they took him off the plane. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, did I make a mistake or was that something? So, I mean, yeah, I think I have legitimate reasons for being afraid. Because if you get too complacent, they're going to attack again. I mean, I'm glad that they're that vigilant.
I want to introduce you my American family. It's my mom. Okay.
My name is Ardit.
Yes. Graham.
I've been married to Deloy for 22 years.
So it's my dad, and he doesn't love me because he doesn't have any place in his heart for me because his heart is for computers, Yes.
It was a really good experience for me.
It was fun to watch you when you experienced new things. It's when you had French fries for the first time and you're like, ooh, these are really good.
I remember the time that you helped Arda with her strike down at Fred Meyer. That was fun to you.
I felt that it was something meaningful and fun too. So has America changed in all these years, or has it?
Yeah,
of course.
A lot. We've had good times and bad times since then. I worked in aviation, and we built avionics for small airplanes. And when we first heard about 9/11s, and we heard that a small airplane had hit one of the towers. So I jumped up and turned the TV on because I was afraid one of our aviation navigators had misdirected somebody.
He thought it was his fault.
We could be guilty for something.
And then when the second one hit, it was like terrorists.
Yeah.
We thought in America it would never come here, but it came here. We're more aware of it now, too.
I think it has impacted the country financially, though. I think that's part of the scare in the stock market is that something like this can happen again and just destroy
Within
things.
a day, destroy things. And we worry that they'll attack the financial system.
There's a lot of fear that wasn't there before. You just worry that what's going to happen next.
Remember on the BART train the other day with Sean, his family? A man got on and he was wearing the headdress of somebody, and I thought, what if he has a bomb? It's like, alert, alert.
I know.
But that's our self-preservation. We watch for it, and if we think it's happening, then we'll do something about it.
The military is to stay on full alert, dispersal of population and assets against air attack to stay in place. You all know the mobilization alarms. If you hear them, act immediately. He sighed. And let's pray the war is over.
Oh, she's so cute.
That's Jolie.
No, Jolie. Like Paul. She looks a lot.
I mean, it's been like 15 years since 9/11.
But terrorism is still there. The attacks that they had in Paris, at least we haven't had any major attacks in the United States. But to hear that it can happen in Paris and other places in the world, it makes people nervous.
Yeah, I'm not that. We just like there and we had a flea market and there are all kinds of rocks and shells.
They are changing our Constitution in a way that most of us don't like in the name of more security. And this whole gun thing is just ridiculous. There's no way most Americans are ever going to let Obama or, what's her name?
Hillary
or anyone else take away our guns. Because that's a last defense against a bad government.
John doubted the government Fredericks represented would be willing to drop a neutron bomb on them. 2 or 3 fuel-air explosives could nevertheless destroy his beloved valley and all whom he held dear.
A lot of these books and movies all show other countries coming in and invading us. And so we have that kind of fear in the back of our minds.
It had to end now.
Ask the question, why do we have so many enemies? And this is the thing today in America. People don't want to ask this question. Why do they hate us? Why do we have so many enemies? Nobody wants to have this discussion here. We created this monster in Afghanistan, right? We armed them, we trained them, we emboldened them, we gave them the support, and then they turned against us.
The whole idea of the war on terror, I think it's obnoxious. When we don't know who our target is, when we do it based on non-facts, preconceived notions, or on ideas that we have about someone we wanted to target anyway.
Here we are, the mightiest empire, and we cannot defeat these people who live in caves, whether it's Syria or Afghanistan. We have bases all around the world. We spend trillions of dollars on the defense budget, but somehow we can't find these people, and we can't destroy them. Why? Why can't we stop them? Why did this war, why is it still going on 15 years later? Personally, I think it's because at this point it's a business. It's business. People are making so much money. What do we get? We get insecurity, we get fear, we get danger of all sorts. The more we get involved in the Middle East, the more powerful these terrorist groups become, the more fanatical they become. They see us as the invaders, so now they want their revenge.
I probably feel the same way that a lot of folks feel, helpless. What can I personally do? I really don't know. It's very anxiety-provoking, I would say.
Unfortunately, I'm very sorry to say this, but it's probably a matter of time before another big terrorist attack happens in the U.S. Is that where we're heading? Is it too late to stop that?